Hello and welcome to Bloki channel. In this video I will show you how to create and manage personal ID, assets and change of property. So let's start with the tutorial. We can start from our Bloki homepage, blogi-chain.com, and find our login button. We click on it and we can log in. I'm using this account. Here we go. And finally we are in our personal page. First of all, a user might need to associate a digital identity to his person. Using this module, identity, personal ID and personal password are created and are univocally associated to the user. In the same time, ID card, photo selfie, biometric data can be associated for identity certification and verification. So, clicking on identity, we can simply create our personal ID. Create. And here we found two different levels. In the first level, I'm choosing a password, an example password, Bloki, in the blockchain level. In the second layer, I'm using a personal description of the PID, for example, my PID. Okay, let's click on create. Okay, Ethereum blockchain gives us our personal ID, this code. I have to copy in a secure way. I'm just using my secure node.txt. Okay. I have to copy this because Bloki doesn't retain this kind of blockchain data. So now I have my personal empty ID. I can add some different documents to my empty personal ID. Let's fill with the two example documents. Just click on PID add transaction, select the right label, my PID, the transaction info, these are the info on the Bloki level, so I can choose my student card. Now I'm entering my PID, blockchain level, password, Bloki. I'm choosing my document. Here we go, my personal student card. Let's open and click on add transaction. We have to wait to the TXS. Ethereum blockchain are mining my transaction, so we have to wait about 1 minute. Okay, 1000%. This is the TXS on my transaction, and now I would like to repeat this operation, adding the second document, PID add transaction, write the label, my PID, and on my personal certificate, transaction info, personal ID, okay, password, Bloki. Let's choose the second file. Okay, my owner certificate is a PDF. and click Add Transaction. Again, we have to wait for the mining. This is our tick hash of the operation. Okay, almost finished, and now my two documents are added on the blockchain ecosystem and are linked to my personal ID. Uh, let's check these documents in PID verify. Very simple. Just click the right label on Bloki level, personal ID. Again, my PID, and click verify. Okay, and these are my transaction, the two documents I add. My student card, I have this TXS, the number of the block on the Ethereum blockchain, and the timestamp. Okay, 1 and 2. My student card and my personal certificate. Now, select all, and let's check. Verify. Okay, this is my first document, a student card, Smith John William, and this is my owner certificate, John William Smith. These documents are stored on the blockchain ecosystem and linked permanently to my personal ID. Okay. Let's come back to personal page. Here we go. And now the second step is to create new asset. The user starts the certified management of the asset by entering the asset password on blockchain level and the asset name on Bloki level. Let's create our new asset. Okay. The transaction produces the asset ID. At this moment, the asset has been created on the blockchain level and can be managed end-to-end, including property chain, change of property, and payments. The user has to carefully maintain the asset ID and the asset because blocking doesn't retain this blockchain credential. So let's enter our password. For example, asset and the optional asset description and my title. Okay, create. Okay, this is the my asset ID from the Ethereum blockchain, and I have to copy my asset ID in a secure way as shown below. Okay, and my asset ID is this. Okay, now I can fill my asset ID with documents. So just click on add transaction, my title, the right label, these are Bloki level infos, transaction infos, title, property title, my asset ID, same, this, asset password, asset, and Now I'm choosing a document on my asset, my property title, for example, and click on Add Transaction. Same as ever, this is the tick hash on my transaction. We have to wait for mining about 1 minute. Okay, almost done. 1000%. Now let's go back, and the user now can check, read, and download the entire stored digital documents related to the certified management of an asset in the blockchain. This is possible from the asset creation to the last transaction. Now let's click on verify, the right label, my title, and asset ID. Verify. Okay. My property title, this is my tick hash on the blockchain, block number, and timestamp. Select and verify. Okay, this is my original certification of title. Let's go back. Okay, we made the personal ID and an asset ID. Now it's time to link the asset ID to the PID by the function property chain. The user runs this module to implement the property chain between the asset and the identity, because the function createLink realized by smart contract an immutable link between asset ID and personal identity. At the end of the process, a property title of the asset has been created in favor of the user and the property chain is implemented. Each asset can be linked only to one identity. Using this function, verifyLink, and entering asset ID, the user or other authorized figure can verify the certified property chain because the smart contract releases the identity owning the asset. So let's click on create link. Very simple. Insert the PID. Okay. PID password, Bloki, and the asset ID. Okay. And click to create. Very good. Congratulations, your PID is successfully linked to the asset ID, and this is the hash of the transaction on the Ethereum blockchain. We have to wait for the mining as ever, and the transaction is completed. Now, let's verify the link. Just entering the asset ID, okay, and click verify. Okay, immediately, congratulations. The given asset ID is linked to PID. Yes. Okay, is correct. At timestamp from the blockchain. And this link is unmodifiable. Okay. Let's go back. Okay, right now My asset ID is linked to my personal ID on the blockchain level. Now I want to sell my property title, my asset ID, to another person that can have another personal ID. For example, this is the buyer personal ID. So the property can change to this PID, from this PID to this PID. How can I do that? Just click on payment and change of ownership, and in this panel the seller sets a proposal by the function selling proposal. Yes, entering the seller personal information, the asset ID, the buyer's identity, and the amount in header. Just click OK. Let's fill this form. My personal infos, my PID. Okay. My password, Bloki. The asset ID. Okay. The buyer PID. I'm the seller, and this is the buyer, another person. And the amount in error. We can do 0 if we wanna sell, if I wanna sell my title for free, or I don't know, every kind of amount. Let's check with 0 and click propose. Okay, congratulations, your proposal is successfully published on the blockchain by the Bloki smart contract, the change of ownership smart contract. Let's wait a minute for the mining, and the transaction is complete. Now, the seller, me, set the proposal, and let's imagine that now I am another person, I am the buyer, and I have this personal ID, okay? The buyer checks this proposal using the function proposal check. Only the buyer and the seller are enabled to see this proposal because of the security control implemented by the smart contract. So let's check our proposal. Insert your PID. Now I am the buyer. Is correct? Yeah. Password PID. Buyer. I made this PID in another time. Insert the asset ID. The property title. Okay. Paste. And the seller PID. Only these two PID can check this proposal, the seller and the buyer. Let's fire our smart contract, check the proposal. Okay, congratulations, proposal found. And the amount is 0 header because I set 0 in the amount. So the buyer have to send 0 header to own the asset ID. Let's go back, and if all the parameters are correct, the buyer used the function proposal confirmation to release the payment in header to the seller. In details, the buyer enters buyer personal information, seller's identity, and amount in header. The amount is transferred to the seller identity and the property chain is changed. The asset ID is no more linked to the seller's identity, but is instead linked to the buyer's identity. The smart contracts implements the payment assuring both the buyer and the seller. The buyer is guaranteed because the smart contracts check for the correctness of the data inserted both by the seller and the buyer. For example, if the buyer enters in an amount less or more than the value of the selling proposal, the transaction is not validated. So let's fill this form, insert your PID. Now I am the buyer. The password of the buyer asset ID. The seller PID. And the amount in F0. Confirm. Okay, congratulations, the proposal is successfully confirmed. And this is the hash of the transaction of my confirmation. Let's wait for the mining. The seller is guaranteed because the smart contract implements the change of ownership only if the amount is really present in the escrow service. If the buyer hasn't made yet the payment after the selling proposal has been inserted by the seller can use proposal repeal function to cancel the selling proposal, having back the full management of the asset. The smart contract controls this repealing only if the payment has not been done. Okay, the transaction is now complete. And let's check the property chain of the asset. Okay, go back. Property chain. Verify link. Okay, I'm checking this asset ID and verify. Oops, my Bloki credit is expired and I made a recharge in our Bloki point system. Okay, very good. Now we can check that the given asset ID is linked to PID this at a timestamp, this one. And it is correct. Before the transaction, this asset ID was linked to the first personal ID. And after the selling, the smart contract linked this asset ID to the second, the buyer personal ID. Okay, at this timestamp. Let's go back. Okay, let's go back, and this is the end of this gentle introduction to Bloki. I hope I was clear, and for further information, you can visit our website. We have the download page, news, academy, feature details, and user guide and a white paper. Okay, thank you for your attention and best regards.